Hey guys, just wanted to give you some information for the last couple weeks of class to make sure that everything is going well. And so I'm just going to give it to you as a little bit of a video. You don't have to do anything with this video other than pay attention. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to share the screen. First thing I want to talk about is the Met-Ed anticipating hazardous weather one, right? So you're going to get to this final one. This is the very last thing, last Met-Ed quiz that you'll be working on. And it says go to the quiz, and you'll take the quiz just like normal. Actually, you can practice the quiz. You'll take the quiz for that module on Blackboard just like normal. But I realized that there's something missing that used to be on the Met-Ed stuff, and they've now changed it, and that is the FEMA training. So I'm going to take this link. I'm going to put it right now in the chat room, which I don't know if that's not being recorded. So here's the link. I'll put this link in the announcement for this video. Okay, so it's going to take you to this. This is a course overview on what we've been doing as the sort of the backbone. And in here, there is take the final exam online. Okay, and that will take you to something that looks like this. This is just a legal notice. There is a thing that you have to register here. It says follow these steps to register for one, and then it'll give you the student ID. This is all free. And then you agree that you're taking as individual effort. And then you just take that as a practice for the FEMA test. Now, I've looked online and there are answers to FEMA tests, which I think is amazing because that's, first of all, unethical and not a good thing. But if you're looking at it and after you take this, if you want to take a look at that, I don't know if those answers are correct. Last time I checked on something, there were a couple of errors that were in there. In any event, if you want a FEMA certificate, that is what you would take. And FEMA will actually give you a certificate. But when you are done with that, you will then be given, at a future date, the time to take the FEMA test. That's on the schedule. And my FEMA test is on Blackboard. And what I did with that one is I changed some of the questions because I didn't like some of the questions on the FEMA test. I went through that and I thought, you know what, you haven't really studied this very much. I don't think these are that important. I don't like the wording of this question. And so I changed some of it to be online. But the FEMA exam is basically everything that we've dealt with this entire semester and the really important aspects of it. So you should practice the FEMA test, review those questions. That's basically the flavor of it. And you just need to get a good, decent grade on that to pass it, okay? So that's your FEMA test. So when you're doing this anticipating hazardous weather, you will have the quiz. That's a practice online. This is very similar to the one that's going to be for the FEMA final. Then you take it on Blackboard. So I said you could do this. You can go find those answers, whatever you want, and then take it online. And then the FEMA test will be something different. And that's sort of a broad summary of everything we've done. Okay, and then that will take you to the rest of the class. Now, the other thing that we want to look at is the paper. Okay, so I'm going to go over here to the final paper rubric. I've had a couple questions. Basically, you're breaking it up, and this is what I'm going to be evaluating you on. You're breaking it up into these sections where you're talking about the weather of the event, right? You are talking about meteorology. You need to tell me, hey, I know what's going on meteorologically. You need to talk about the information coming from the Weather Service. So I've given you some places you can get forecasts, or you can get special weather statements or advisories or watches or warnings. You can go to Wikipedia. A lot of them have some of the warnings that have been issued. This is where you do the research. Then you're going to do a section on the impacts. Well, what happened? Be interesting. You can get into it as much as you want. Prior readiness, were they ready for this? Did the community have antecedent events that may have allowed them to be ready? Were they knowing that flooding is coming? Or could that more have been done? and then what lessons were learned. So you've got 5 basic sections of this, and I'll be evaluating each one of those sections and how you do that. Now keep in mind, I said treat each one like a 1 to 4 page paper. And if you do a little bit on prior readiness, but you learned a lot of lessons, or you do a little bit on the information, but you have a lot of the meteorology, you can balance it out. So it doesn't have to be exactly the same on all of them. Some of you have asked, should I do a header for each of these things? Yeah, I mean, you can name it something different, but that's a good way to do that. And then wrap the paper with an introduction and a conclusion to make it a really good paper. Include diagrams. This should be between 35 and 4,500 words. So, and you don't have to worry about the reference sheet. I'm basically finding that if you have 11-point font, 1.5 inch or 1.5 point line spacing, that's good. Just cite information, inline citations, for examples, and you don't have to worry about the huge formality of what you referenced. I don't care if it's APA or whatever they are that some of you have asked me about that. I'm not that concerned. I don't want you to focus on this. You can learn that in other classes. I just want to know, where did you get information? Did you find really good sources, or are you using bad sources? And Wikipedia is a good place to start. Use some of the stuff from Wikipedia. And then make sure you've read this so that you understand the quality of that project. And that paper's coming due real soon. If there's a problem, let me know, but I just wanted to kind of mention that. And then we're finishing up, and then there will be the last test. And when that last test is given, it is going to be over the last section since the prior test. Okay, so that's what's going on. And I just wanted to make sure you all had a little idea of what's to expect over the next few weeks. I hope you've learned something in this course. And for a lot of you, your work has been getting better, and that's always a good thing. Make sure that you finished up everything, because right now it's time for me to go give zeros to everything that you haven't turned in, because I need to do that, okay? If you have a problem, call me. If not, I hope you have a good rest of the spring.